Hello and welcome to this INAV quick tip. Now this is a quick tip for a patron of mine, a gentleman called Donald. So Don, this one is for you. Now this is a question that I've had from other people as well, specifically around the GPS flight modes in INAV. Now here I'm actually connected to my Brain FPV Dart. So go and have a look at the Brain Dart series. It talks about how to set all this stuff up. Just happens to be the one on the bench when I wanted to kind of show this. Now the thing is that normally if you go into the modes tab, at the moment we haven't got the radio turned on or anything, but I just want to show you this in here. If you go into the modes tab, then what you'll find is that as you move things around, as everything is working, these boxes will go blue. So as you change these sliders and hit save and then flick the mode switch into angle, horizon or rate mode, then you'll see the individual boxes go blue to confirm everything's working. However, if you try and do that on things like the GPS flight modes, things like nav position hold, nav return to home, even if you have a GPS lock and everything is good and everything in the setup window is all nice and green, then it won't go blue. And that is absolutely by design. Now, this is something that I've talked about in other series, and it's also covered in the wiki. But the reason I'm making this video is because if this is happening to you, to explain what's going on. Now, for safety reasons, INAV will only initiate and run the GPS modes if three conditions are met. The first is that the accelerometer and magnetometer are calibrated properly, and that is something that I show you how to do in all my INAV setup series. The second is that the flight controller has a valid 3D GPS fix. That's to make sure that you can't take off without the home position being stored successfully. And the last thing is that the flight controller is armed. Now that is where people get a little bit confused. If you try and arm the flight controller in INAV in one of the GPS modes, it'll give you a warning on the screen if you're looking at through the on-screen display to say to you that to disable GPS mode first. So you have to arm it in something like angle, horizon or rate mode. Once it is armed, then you can flick into one of those modes. The GPS flight modes are really made for flicking into once you are in the air. Now in the wiki, and I'll put a link to the wiki notes, you can kind of change how that works a little bit so you can test things on the bench. But in my experience, so long as you have done the compass accelerometer calibration, that is a good solid GPS lock and a 3D fix, then flicking into these modes is fine. And again, that's why I talk about in my series about the maidening process. I always take off in angle mode usually, and then once I'm happy that angle's all working, then I'll try something like a GPS loiter just to make sure that that's working and work my way up to a return to launch. But hopefully that answers the question for you. If you are playing in the modes on the bench and you're worried why these things don't go blue, they're not supposed to until the craft is armed, then these won't. So by implication, you cannot arm the craft if you're in a GPS flight mode, and actually warn you about that in the on-screen display. Thank you for watching my video and watching right to the very end. If you want to find out what I'm currently working on, you can follow me on social media by searching for Painless360 in the usual places. If you'd like to become part of the inner circle, then you can become a Patreon. Details are in the description and you get lots of additional benefits. Check out the playlist section on the channel too. I organise all of my videos into playlists, and it's called something like Introduction to or for Beginners. All of the content is aimed so that you can start at the very beginning, and it teaches you that subject, starting with simple principles and moving up to teach you everything you need to know.